You are listening to the Toxic Mold Podcast with Steve Worsley, the toxic mold expert and your number one source for mold consulting and mitigation in the USA. Let's dive into a brand new episode.
Before we get started on this episode, here's a not-so-short disclaimer. While all attempts have been made to verify the content provided in this podcast, neither the podcaster nor the producers assume any responsibility for errors, omissions, or alternative interpretations of the issues discussed here. All information stated in this podcast is the opinion of Steve Worsley. Steve Worsley is a mold specialist with over 25 years of experience in the construction and mold industry. The Toxic Mold Podcast is for information sharing purposes only. The views expressed are those of the podcaster and his alone. These views should not be taken as expert instruction or commands. While there may be references to medical conditions and symptoms, all podcast episodes are the opinion of Steve Worsley, and any medical questions or concerns shall be addressed with the appropriate licensed medical professional or professionals. As the podcaster refers to different mold types, please be aware that Steve Worsley is not a microbiologist, and questions concerning mold specifics should be answered by the appropriate professional. Steve isn't, nor does he offer any legal advice. For any legal advice, you must speak to a lawyer. The listener is 100% responsible for his or her own actions. You can check out Steve's books on Amazon. Just go to Amazon and search for author Steve Worsley. You can also take Steve's mold education courses, such as Mold 101 and the Mycotoxin Prevention Kit, by going to cnccontractorservices.com. Again, check out his mold education courses at cnccontractorservices.com. Now, let's get to the episode.
Hello, you're listening to the Toxic Mold Podcast with myself, Steve Worsley, and we have my wife, Cassandra, because I can't, because I'm too lazy to get guests.
No, because you haven't chosen to get guests yet.
Well, our listeners know it's a pain, and yeah, we talk about that all the time.
And guests will be coming periodically every quarter.
Yeah, I haven't tried.
Yeah.
Not hard enough. So today is a subject that I see all the time on Facebook, and it's, will an SPC get rid of toxic mold?
Well, SPCs have become the latest
fad
cure-all. Like people think it's the, what is it? The smoking gun? No, not the smoking gun. They think it's like
they think it's the silver bullet.
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah.
The silver bullet.
Yeah, and so for our listeners, what is an SPC?
Small particle cleaning.
Exactly.
But can you explain what that is exactly?
So I'm not going to go through every step, and I myself have probably referred to it as a deep cleaning.
And you're going to have a YouTube video on what is an SPC, aren't you? I think so.
Yeah, well, the doodle video, yeah.
So be sure that you subscribe to YouTube, because we're going to be doing a lot of educational content on there, that not only with what we're going to talk about today, but kind of in case you need to educate somebody in your family, or even send something to your doctor to say, hey, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and it's finished. We just haven't taken it live, but we have the what can you keep and what must be tossed out document. Right. It's a more or less like a checklist. It's something we'll sell for like $10, $20.
Absolutely.
On Thinkific or the website. I don't know where we're going to do it.
Probably Thinkific. But going back to the small particle cleaning, I keep hearing people want this even before mold mitigation. So can you explain what it is and why do people want it so badly?
Well, I can't speak for why people want it so badly, but honestly, I think they think that's the easiest step and they can do it themselves. So they focus on that. So when we do an SPC professionally, so let's just say we're in this office, okay, and we'll treat, this like the whole house. But in this office, I'm going to come in and I'm going to say, okay, I know I'm not getting rid of my Dell Junior canvas. It's worth way too much to me. I'm not going to get rid of my Dell Earnhardt stuffed bear over there.
No.
We're not going to get rid of your mom's chair that you've had since you've been growing up. So you've got to go room by room and decide. So when we do an SPC, is it a full toss out? Is it a partial toss out? Is it zero toss out? Full toss out, we would come in and toss everything out of here. Partial, a few things we'd toss out. Nothing, we would come up with a plan, if my client wanted to pay us, which normally they don't want to, come up with a plan on how we're going to deal with this canvas, deal with your mom's chair. And if they aren't going to have us do it, we literally wrap it in plastic.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the first step of what an SPC is. Then we would put a containment up and bring our air scrubbers in here, duct it out that window, create negative air, and then we start cleaning.
And so it really is a mycotoxin mindful deep cleaning where you're putting together containments to make sure that you're handling the mycotoxins in that area.
The purpose of it is to address the mycotoxins.
Yes, not the toxic mold.
Exactly.
But the things the toxic mold spew out.
Yes.
The mycotoxins.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And it's, for our listeners, we're fogging, we're running ozone machines, we're doing a damp wipe, a dry wipe, HEPA vacuuming. There's tons of steps to it.
Yeah, it's not just a deep clean that a carpet cleaning company can do.
Exactly.
Okay.
Or you pay your cleaner to do.
Correct.
I doubt your cleaner even knows what negative air is.
Exactly.
So to go back to what your question or what the title of the episode is, so if we did that in here, my first question to my client would be, well, why aren't we doing it in the entire home? And if they said, well, there was only a mold issue in this closet. Well, have you dealt with it? No, we just put plastic over the door.
And that's not going to cut it.
You mentioned it. The SPC is to address the mycotoxins. Well, you have to stop the bleeding, which is the mold colony, the toxigenic mold colony.
Mm-hmm. So, because if you don't address the toxigenic mold colony, even in that specific area where you do the small particle cleaning, you still have the toxic mold that's going to continue to spew out mycotoxins, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And for those wondering how much an SPC is, it is expensive.
Very. But yet people really crave it because they think for some reason that it's going to fix all their issues.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's an odd, and I'm very clear with my clients. Like, if you're not going to focus on the toxigenic mold colony, then you're just paying me to have, it's something you're going to have to do again.
Yes. There's an order of operations to this, isn't there?
Oh, of course, yes.
Okay.
And this is why you get the professionals involved. Well, professionals that know what they're doing.
Yes. And not all mold indoor air quality professionals even understand mycotoxins. Would you agree with that statement?
I don't think many of them even understand mold.
Okay.
Personally.
Well then.
I hate to say it that way.
There's a lot of people who are jumping into the mold business who really don't have the expertise, the knowledge, and the desire to investigate to the level that investigation would have to happen to really address the root cause.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've said this numerous times, and if you're one of the, because I know a lot of professionals listen to the podcast, I'm not taking shots at you, but going out and buying a franchise doesn't make you a mold expert.
That's true. And so to go back to this whole thing of, and I know, you don't know what everybody's thinking, but as an expert with the number of people who have come to you asking for SPCs, why do you think people are wanting SPCs?
I think, and once again, I think there's so much misinformation out there, and, we have AI now.
Yes.
And we have Facebook groups and TikTok and Instagram and whatever else is out there, Twitter. These people are hearing all this information, and it's overwhelming. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But the SPC is kind of the hot topic, and I don't know why, honestly.
Okay.
But they think that, well, I've got to get the SPC done. That's why I'm still sick. Well, even if you got all the remediation done properly, there are other things that have to happen or other factors that would still make you sick.
Mm-hmm.
It could be you're not detoxing properly, or there's 100 things that I could talk about. So to answer your question, I personally, I don't know why they think that. I believe it's because that's what they're being told.
So then, I mean,
it's almost like the smoking gun.
Yes. So it's kind of like people say, let me do this new skincare regimen. It's going to fix all my skin issues.
Yeah.
Or let me do the keto diet because that's going to just fix everything.
You hear all the time, water purifiers.
Yes.
The reason it's not working is because you're not doing reverse osmosis, or you're not doing this, or it's just kind of I hate to say it's a fad, but it's almost like it's the get out of jail free card for everybody all the so-called experts on the internet. Well, you haven't had an SPC. That's why you're still sick.
Absolutely. So what should somebody make sure that they have done before they go to the level of getting an SPC?
Well, there should be obviously an IEP involved.
Okay.
There should have been mold remediation done.
Okay.
There's probably some testing involved.
Mm-hmm.
As far as mycotoxins, there's a representative with Respirair Labs. They have a air test and they have a surface test.
Mm-hmm.
The air test, you have to have their pump. It's a lot more expensive. So I asked her, I was like, well, can't I just do the surface test? And she's like, yeah, but it's not going to be as accurate. And she explained why, and it makes total sense.
Okay.
The surface test is kind of more of we're going to do a surface test on your mom's chair to see if we really have to spend the money it would cost to get it cleaned.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
Whereas the air test is going to give an overall mycotoxins in the air.
Okay.
So there is some testing, in my opinion, that should be involved before you jump to an SPC.
Okay.
Because the last thing I want to do, and all of my clients that listen know this, the last thing I want to do is come charge you for an SPC and you still have mold infestations that are contributing to the mycotoxin load.
No, I totally agree. So really it's getting an IEP involved early.
Yeah.
Sounds like a really important step. Assessing to see what the situation is with the toxic mold.
Yeah, and I want to be clear, an IEP that knows what they're doing.
Well, yeah.
That's kind of a new fad too.
Yeah, no, an IEP who really has the experience and the background and the history and the knowledge and is willing to go the extra mile.
Yeah.
To do the discovery.
Yeah, and I don't want to disparage IEPs that have gone through mold toxicity, but just because you went through it yourself doesn't mean you're qualified or you understand the mold side of it. And even I have tons to learn. But
yeah, everybody does.
My point is that there's a lot of IEPs out there that just go get a certification or go get whatever and think that makes them qualified.
Absolutely, which reminds me of one of the freebies that you offer, how to hire a mold specialist.
Yeah, how to hire the right mold pro.
Yeah, how to hire the right mold pro. That is such a helpful handout. If you haven't signed up for it, it's somewhere on cnccontractorservices.com.
Yeah.
But the key thing is it's so good because it really helps you. It gives you sort of a checklist and walkthrough on.
It's just a single page PDF.
It's really good.
But it's geared more towards a mold remediation contractor.
Yes.
It's not, and we'll create another one because I don't have enough to do, but we'll create one that's specific to an IEP.
Yeah. So, I mean, because I think you need the right person, but also you need the right person who understands the right order in which to do this. And getting rid of mycotoxins before you actually address the toxic mold doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So to kind of backtrack a little bit for our listeners, if you were to come to me and you're like, hey, Steve, we have the money, we want to pay for an SPC, we'll pay you to come to Colorado or wherever. There are lots of questions I'm going to ask. Like, have you had your ducts cleaned? Like, have you had your furnace inspected? Like, there's an order of operations, and having the person that knows is very important.
Very.
So.
Yeah. And so, bottom line, if they haven't addressed the toxic mold and they haven't handled the toxic mold, should they be doing an SPC?
No.
Okay.
No. So go back to the title of this episode. You, and I hate to use this term, you're pissing in the wind if you're doing an SPC, but have not ruled out all the mold concerns, which part of that includes a good IEP, which is typically a good inspector, and testing will have been done to verify that, hey, we got all the mold concerns addressed.
Absolutely. So get the mold concerns addressed first. Now, what's your call to action for people?
We just talked about it. Follow the proper steps.
And get a knowledgeable, good, solid IEP involved.
Yeah. Don't do your SPC, even if you're doing it yourself, before you have the mold remediation done.
Oh, one thing I want to bring full circle, because this has come up with your clients a lot. There are times where people want the mold mitigation, and then the very next day after that mold mitigation is done, they want to do the SPC. What is your take on that? Like doing it right after mold mitigation has wrapped?
Well, inside our containments, we do the SPC last.
Yeah.
So am I answering that? Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
Or maybe it was a situation where somebody had a deep clean or something, and then they wanted to do an SP. Isn't there some waiting? Like, you should let the house.
So I do have circumstances where, because obviously I travel out of town a lot for work, where we do, we know we have to do mold remediation, and we figure that into our bid. And let's say it's 3 days. and then we start the SPC.
Okay.
Is that what you're asking? Like, should there be a waiting period? Is there a waiting period? Yes, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
It all depends on the situation, how the containments are put up, because we can contain and do what we need to do in different areas, but for the most part, like, depending on the situation, you should have test results prior to doing the SPC.
And why is that? Why should you have test
results? Just to make sure.
Okay. That the toxic mold was handled.
Yeah. Because going back to what we talked about, we don't want to do an SPC if there's something else somewhere else in the house going on.
Okay. That's what I was trying to get at. Because I remember you were telling me about situations where it was too soon to do the SPC. And I guess it was because if you have not confirmed PRV that the toxic mold situation's been handled and you prematurely do an SPC, but then you figure out that there's more toxic mold issues, that kind of doesn't work.
Yeah, and it's, once again, every situation's unique, but depending on the situation, even if we failed the PRV test and we did an SPC, we probably have it isolated to one little area.
Okay.
It's not a huge deal. Now I'm going to sound like I'm contradicting what I'm saying about this. But you're talking about a process where you have somebody on site that is
going to do all the things, right?
Exactly.
And I think this is where we come full circle to you have to have the right IEP involved.
Yeah.
Because your situation is going to look very different from mold mitigation to SPC and timeline in between than another client's.
Exactly.
And so you need the right person who can help you figure out your specific order of operations.
Exactly. Yep. So that was a good question, but I want to be clear because I feel like I kind of contradicted what I have said. You should address the mold first.
Yes.
Your SPC is not going to get rid of the toxic mold if you don't address the remediation.
Yeah, it's not the silver bullet for toxic mold.
Exactly. So, okay. We appreciate all you listeners. Have a great week.
Thanks for tuning in. Would you like to get a handle on mold in your home? What it is, how to spot it, and what to do next? If you said yes to that, the Mold 101 bundle is your all-in-one guide. Packed with self-assessment worksheets, a workbook, video walkthroughs, and expert audio coaching, this digital bundle gives you the tools to protect your home and your family. Visit cnccontractorservices.com/the Mold 101 bundle and get started today. Again, visit cnccontractorservices.com/the Mold 101 bundle and get started